Okay.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you'll ever listen to.
Your final bros are here. It's Brian Hoppo Lacrosse and Shane. I'm here to take your innocence. Smith.
And we are continuing Cabin Month. It's the Snow Cottage. It's Dead Snow. And I swear that intro didn't take 6 attempts.
No, but Shane will take your innocence. This is the final podcast, the show that not only takes your innocence,
Right.
Shane will, but we're also the show that's going to review cabin horror this month. And we've come to the place of the fjord. We've come to the place of Europe.
Yes.
Of the snow, of avalanches. Are you crawling up? Are you crawling down? Are you going to get a blumpkin?
You're definitely getting something on the porta potty in this one.
Can you trust these zombies?
No, they're Nazis. You can never trust a Nazi.
Can you trust a Nazi?
Definitely not.
Yeah,
Oh,
You
okay.
can't trust a Nazi. They're just like, Nazis. They're dangerous.
Not Yahtzee.
Nazi.
Oh, okay. Yep. So
Nazi.
Dead Snow, as they call it, Dead Snow is a real tenuous flick.
Yes.
It's a movie that doesn't really get into high gear until midway through, but man, I love the premise.
Me too. There's something cool about a zombie movie where the zombies are actually sentient Nazis. They don't act like zombies. They act like soldiers who just happen to
strategize.
be zombies.
Yeah, they have strategy for
Yes.
sure. They're not just meat bags just going straight like one direction. They have a strategy. They're implementing said strategy, and they have a General Herzog.
Is that actually his name?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's the charm of this movie is like it's not your typical zombie movie. Like
No.
it's nice seeing zombies used in this like intelligent like because you think of another movie really where the zombies are like intelligent like
Yeah. And the hack and slash brutality and the creative nature they took with the brutality
yes.
is awesome. It's a really funny movie to watch. It's both got good comical elements. It's got a lot of cool splatterhouse gore in all the right ways. And I really think we just need to dive right in, head on to Europe, get the cabin, and just get right into this. What do you think? Spooky pit time?
I'm thinking we get into the Norwegian spooky pit.
Dead Snow was released in 2009. Skiing, medical students, zombies, World War II, gold shit is sick. This film was directed by Tommy Wirkola and stars Jeppy Beck Larson as Erland, Charlotte Frogner as Hannah, Jenny Scalen as Chris, Geir Vigar Hoel as Martin, Stig Frode Henriksen as Roy. There's a lot of characters in this. Lassie Valdell as Vigard, Evie Casseth Rawson as Liv, and Anna Dahl Torp as Sarah. A lot of characters in this one.
There is 4 girls, 4 guys, right?
Pretty much. And
Yeah.
there is a cold open.
Very cold open. Where
Super cold.
it's one person or 2 people that are getting hunted in the woods at night.
I think it's just one.
One, right? And you don't see exactly. This movie actually does a good job of leading into what the actual enemy is. Like it's a zombie movie, but you don't know it's the Nazi zombies till a little later on.
And what their motivation is, which is super good.
Yes, because you get the guy who comes and delivers all the news at some point.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
They didn't go out and seek the Harbinger. He came to them.
Yes. So, yes, there's the cold open kill. Then you get these guys, they're traveling to the Snow Cottage, and it's beautiful. I would spend a weekend out here.
Yeah. Beautiful country out there.
Yeah.
And one of the characters mentions that his fiance or his girlfriend
Yeah.
is going to meet them, and then do you realize that's the person in the beginning
that's the cold open.
getting run down and killed.
But yeah, they're here. It's beautiful. They look like they're gonna have a fun time. They're snowmobiles, and they're just gonna be drinking.
Yeah, they're going to be drinking. They're going to be hanging out on the snowmobiles, doing a little racing, having a little fun. It's honestly just a fucking hoot.
It is. It really is. And then
Should go south?
Yeah, it goes south really fast, but not until a guy shows up.
That's the thing.
This guy, I don't know his name, but he's going to be like, hey, can I just come in for coffee? And I'm like, that's a weird request.
He shows up like in the middle of the night. He doesn't know these people. He just knows that they're staying in a cabin, I guess.
Yes.
And that they're new and they're not locals. So he goes in there. They offer him the ability to come in for the cup of coffee.
Yes.
And they provide him with the cup of coffee. It's interesting because they give him the cup of coffee. They offer him the hospitality. It's an awkward thing if they're all looking at each other and they're like, wow, this guy's just like chilling here. And it's weird. And I love it because he's not at all being very receptive of the coffee. He's actually insulting them for how terrible the coffee was.
It's actually hilarious.
He's like, which one of you guys made the coffee?
This guy is very rude about how much he hates this coffee. But this guy's very important to the plot because he actually explains exactly what is going on, that there's like an evil presence that resides in this area and it's hunting its treasure, right? Or its gold.
Yeah. He explains the background. So this is what I'm to gather is that it's Germany and he mentions, I think it's a Russian group.
Yes.
That was like a group of Germans came in, like soldiers, and they treated them like shit.
Yes.
And it was really bad. And essentially when Germany was losing the war, they were getting ready to leave that village.
Yes, they were.
General Herzog was in control of them, but they took a bunch of their like possessions and jewels and stuff and valuables and went into like a different area of the mountains with it. And then the Russians, like that group of the Russians went to go follow them, but no one could be found when they went to trail them.
Everything was missing. No bodies, no nothing. This guy, though, he's also very aggressive. Like when people don't believe what he's saying, he like grabs them by the throat.
Yeah, well, there's this one guy that's just like trying to make a joke, and he's just not in a joking mood.
No.
Not the night for that kind of antics.
He's a very serious man.
Yeah, so he's going to literally choke this guy. Speaking of this movie, does set some stuff up that I do want to explain. I thought was
we need to. Yeah, we need
to. Really cool. There's this one guy. He's kind of the main character, I think. Martin, where he does this cool thing and suffocates his girlfriend.
Yeah, okay, so question.
Who's got claustrophobia?
Yes, but why was he smothering her with a pillow like it was a joke? Like, because he's also doing this in front of all of his friends, right? So it's not like this kinky thing they were doing in the bedroom behind closed doors, like, I'm going to suffocate you, haha.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing it in front of everyone.
He thinks it's a joke.
Is he getting off on the people watching?
He holds it there for a while, the pillow. He thinks it's funny, but it's not a joke. She has claustrophobia, and everyone's like, dude, stop.
Yep.
Doesn't go over well.
Like, we're watching murder. I don't want to be an accomplice to this. This is kind of crazy.
It's not going to end well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's one setup, that she has claustrophobia. Another setup is they do mention that they're all medical students.
Yes.
Which does come
very
back,
important.
And it's a good tie-in. It's not useless. Does serve a purpose, which is great. Also, there's a talk about this guy that's coming, and the single girl that's coming to be paired up with this guy, which does potentially result in almost a Blumpkin.
Yeah. Because it's the fatter guy, and he goes into the outhouse at one point.
Yeah.
And the girl follows him.
And they just have sex on top of the porta potty.
Yes. So the Blumpkin would be if he was taking his shit and she was blowing him while he was
correct.
Shitting. This is just sex on the porta potty.
Sex on a porta potty, but we were close.
Yeah. Not exactly the place I would want to have sex in.
No.
I actually think I would have declined.
Yeah.
It seems very unsanitary.
It's not great. Not a great experience. Probably gonna smell. I'd rather bang out in the cold.
Right. Just go out in the snow. It's a little cold bang.
So one of the characters, the guy with the cool hair, he is gonna get a nightmare after the event with the guy that came in, and his nightmare is gonna be that he's gonna follow who his girlfriend is outside the cabin, even though she hasn't been there, and she's gonna get killed. He sees her bleeding, and he wakes up, and it's a terrible dream, terrible nightmare,
horrible, absolutely horrible dream.
And we're gonna cut to the stranger who was the harbinger. He's gonna be in his own tent. Why is he there after giving this story in the middle of a tent? I have no idea.
You think he would have left, right?
I think he would have left.
Do you think, because they find the gold first, right? Or no?
I actually don't think so.
They find it. Okay, see, in my head, I was rationalizing it as since they found the gold and possessed it, now they were out killing everyone, but it also wouldn't make sense because they already killed the girl in the cold open. So yeah, why this guy's camping out in what he has described as the most dangerous area to be camping in makes no sense. Because he goes out and he instantly gets murdered. Like, don't they pull out his like intestines and everything?
They have like weird, like sharp instruments that, yeah, they slice his throat. I think quickly slice his throat.
He never stood a chance. But the thing is, I've played Call of Duty. I know the Nazi zombies are not easy. They just keep coming. You could board up as many boards. You could buy as many pack-a-punch guns as you want. Yeah. But you ain't stopping the Nazi zombies.
They're militant wizards. They know all the tricks.
Militant wizards.
They know all the tricks. They're very good with strategizing their next play. Yeah. And they're vicious. They're always the cutting edge of experimenting with bioweapons, with the next best, like, the next best tech, the next best way to make a super soldier.
Yeah.
Of course, this way is just a zombie.
Yeah.
With the revenge and lust for gold.
Since you said Nazis and super soldiers, it made me realize, when are we going to review Overlord?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Because that's a really good super mutant Nazi movie. Yep. We might have to have a Nazi month. Oh, never mind. That's probably a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea. We're not going to have Nazi month.
You don't want to do Nazi November?
No.
Yeah, probably not great.
Yeah, that's a terrible look. We're going to review Dead Snow here. He gets his throat slit. You were right. He's fucking bleeding out. He goes and hides in his tent.
He's just gushing, dude. It's a gush fest.
The one guy, though, is actually going to leave the camp, right, to go look for the missing girl.
Yeah, he's going to go look for his girlfriend. He's gonna go to the camp. And the thing is, like, one of the first things he sees
is this dead guy, which is what made me think of that. So now, back at the cabin, there's only the 6 of them, right? It's 3 girls, 3 guys. So it's Martin, the fat Blumpkin man, and the other guy who looks like someone. There's a guy in here. I felt like I was your dad. I'm like, yeah, this guy looks exactly like someone. He probably looked nothing like him.
Sure.
You want to go through the characters?
What?
Do you want me to go to?
Nah, it's not that important. But I can't even think of his name. But then there's also the 3 girls. They go under the floorboard, right, to find the gold? Like, isn't that how they find it?
So how they find it is that one guy, Erland, is like, I'm going to go grab a beer. Mm-hmm. And he goes to under the floorboard where the beers are, but he notices this box next to the beers and takes out the box.
Yes.
And the box is going to have all of this World War II regalia.
Yeah. And if there's one thing I know about World War II regalia, it's always cursed.
There's no way this was not going to be cursed. When do you ever check under a floorboard in a cabin anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, that's never. He's a man that watches a lot of movies. Yeah. They were referencing some horror classics.
They
like
do.
April Fool's Day and some of these other movies like Friday. And they should know you don't do these things in horror movies.
I've seen 3 cabin movies now this month, and I've seen countless others. If you find anything in a closet, a basement, or under the floorboard, you don't touch it. You leave it alone because it's gonna curse you. I've seen Cabin in the Woods. I know all the ins and outs of the things you could touch that would kill you. It's pretty much everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything. Seashells, wind-up boxes.
Fucking snake statue. All of it. Stay away from it. So they're having a good time. They're drinking.
Don't you like how the one guy's like, don't close it. Let's wait for the other guy to come back. Let's not mess with it. And then like 10 seconds later, they're throwing the gold at each other.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild. So
it's Blumpkin time.
Yes. So we can move past this, right? We kind of talked. We went over the Blumpkin, right? Unless you want to just watch the Blumpkin live.
I mean, we could definitely passion bump it, right? Like,
you know what? Let's passion bump a Blumpkin.
He actually wipes his ass.
Passion bump. Passion bump. Passion bump. My G.
He kind of wipes his ass, and then like a couple of seconds later, she sucks his finger.
You're right. So she's just sucking the ass finger.
She's kind of into that shit.
You think she is into that? Yeah, she definitely is into that.
She goes into the outhouse. Like you could do this after. There's beds.
Yeah. She did specifically wait for him to go to She wanted to do it on the porta potty thing.
She did. She actively shut it out. And she's going to stay in the porta potty after he leaves.
Yes, but that's
and look,
not good.
He had when he walked outside, he had a coin from from the box.
So
Get a
they
couple
know.
of francs.
Yeah, they know this is where they got to go to get their treasure back. She gets murdered in this porta potty, though, right?
She does. She gets pulled through the porta potty. Actually,
That's
she
right.
doesn't die in the porta potty, but she gets fucked up in the porta potty.
Because she gets pulled into the poop.
She gets pulled into the poop, and then she's like crawling out of it, covered in shit. And she actually gets out of the porta potty and is like crawling through the snow.
Yep.
Screaming. And the one girl, I think it's Martin's girlfriend,
Yes.
hearing something. She's like turned down the music.
Yeah.
But then like she's looking, and they open the door.
They see her head, right?
Well, she gets like speared out of the way by
Yeah.
one of the things, so they don't see anything. It's when she looks outside that she sees the head. Like,
The
up
head,
at the window.
the head being held. You're right. So she's the technically third victim now of this movie. They're gonna now get attacked by these Nazi zombies, and they're gonna have to start boarding up the windows, boarding up the doors. They are bunkering down in the snow cottage.
Hide your kids. Hide your World War II German gold. They're coming in.
They're gassing everyone out here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The other guy is now like snowmobiling still through the mountains to try to find his lost girlfriend.
He's gonna like fall in.
He does. He falls into a cave system, right?
Yes, a subterranean cave system in the frigid. I still don't know where exactly we are in this movie.
I think we're in Norway.
We're somewhere out there.
Yeah, well, it might be. I know the movie. I did look it up. The movie is Norwegian. So I was just going to, and I think it was filmed in Norway. I don't know if the movie supposedly takes place in Norway, but the movie was at least
That
filmed
makes
in
sense.
Norway.
They do say the fjords, which is over there.
Yeah. So we'll just say Norway because at least it was filmed in Norway. Yeah, he finds that cave, right? Where it has like all the cave drawings on it and stuff. But doesn't he also find a fucking machine gun?
He does find a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
In this cave, he sees a couple of things. He also sees his girlfriend's head.
That's right. That is in
And
there.
a swastika as well, right?
Yeah, he does find a
He
swastika.
sees the helmets of the soldiers.
Yep.
And then next to that, he sees the head of his girlfriend.
So we got machine gun, girlfriend head, not in the good way, and swastikas. It's all in there.
Yep.
Dangerous.
Yeah. So
Isn't this where he fights the first Nazi zombie?
There's a zombie that comes out that he gets into a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a squabble with. The fight does kind of make its way out of the system.
It does.
And then I think the zombie's like punching him in the face, like really like hard.
Beats the shit out of this guy.
Doesn't he get his shit kicked in?
Yeah.
And then like he does make a fight back.
Yes.
And then is able to like, I think he impales him.
He does. He impales the zombie. He overpowers somebody, impales the zombie, and he escapes on the snowmobile. But first, he attaches the machine gun to the snowmobile. So now he has literally like a turret snowmobile.
It's crazy.
It's kind of awesome. Like, that's the thing. This movie has so many like badass scenes to it. Like, between what Martin does when he fights with the chainsaw.
It's got a lot of really clever kills.
Yes. Oh, well, let's get to the one at the cabin.
Yeah, we can. But does this one lead into the one where he's pulling the intestines out from the tree and he's hanging by them?
Doesn't happen yet.
It's gonna happen
because it
soon.
happens during the daytime.
Got it. Okay. Because I know that's a really cool scene.
I think so. What happens after he attaches that, he does get chased down, right, by the zombies, and then the one jumps at him and it knocks him off the cliff, but he hangs onto its intestines.
Yeah, that's that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could talk about that now, but I was also going to point out, like, while that was going on, back at the cabin, the fat guy who got the Blumpkin, he gets pulled out the window.
Yeah, like the thumbs go through his eyes. And his head is ripped open. It's really cool.
And his lungs fall on the floor.
Yep.
It was insane.
These zombies are fucking brutal. And I'm almost positive their bite does nothing. I know that's a big theme of the movie.
I don't know, because they don't know either, and it never really establishes it.
So, because the one guy gets bit and he never turns.
That's true. This guy, right?
Yeah, he gets bit early and never turns. So I think that's just like a weird myth, and it's funny how they play into that trope
Yes,
at
towards the end.
But they're brutal. is the thing.
True, because when this guy falls over the cliff and he's holding on to the intestines,
Zombie bites
there's
him.
a zombie that's holding on with him and bites him.
Yeah.
And he keeps headbutting him, right? And it knocks him off
Knocks him off, and then he is able to get back up
by
using the
climbing up the intestines rope.
epic.
It is, because it's like something that's like, they always in these movies show how strong the intestines are, whether people are getting pulled by their intestines or something. I've never seen someone use the intestines as a rope to climb back
It's like
up.
400 pounds of dead weight being supported by an intestine.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts.
Strongest human organ of all time, the intestines.
It's literally wild.
So now back at the cabin, next day, the guys are going to split up and cause a distraction so the girls could then escape and find the car.
Yes.
Right? Except the girls are going to both get attacked by zombies and they're going to get split up.
I think the one girl, like during the split up, the one girl just like literally she's like gonna die. She has to just grenade herself.
Yep. So the one girl gets attacked. She's getting eaten by the zombies. So she pulls off the grenade pin and blows herself up. The other girl, Hannah, she gets cornered, right? So she causes the avalanche.
Yeah, because she has to hide up a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hides up a tree, and then is able to like jump down and impale one, but there is another one that's gonna chase her afterwards.
And that one that chases her, it chases her to the edge, and that's when she causes the avalanche and falls off the mountain.
And you're like, how is she not dead? She does land.
But they make it that the snow cushions her blow so much. So now the two guys back at the cabin, they've been defending it from zombies. They're like stabbing things, yada, yada, but they throw a Molotov cocktail, but miss.
Well, the guy just terribly, he's supposed to be throwing it outside because that's where they are, out of the window. But it's so funny because he fucking horribly misses.
Yes.
And throws it inside, lighting the cabin
on
fire.
It's very comical. Like, it's like a fucking like Three Stooges skit when this
Yeah.
guy's throwing Molotov cocktails. But they do run to the tool shed, the Evil Dead tool shed.
That's true.
Because it has chainsaws, sickles, like
Hammer, sickles. That's where the guy
Axe.
that clanks the hammer sickle. He picks up the chainsaw. So they got all the arsenal they need to battle these guys.
he does claim that armor sickle like the Russian flag of the Soviet Union.
Yep.
We've come full circle. Look at us.
Clever.
Look at us. We're figuring everything out. We're piecing together the little subtle symbolism clues. The guy with the machine gun thing, he's going to tape his neck up, right? He sutures his neck himself.
Because he gets bitten, and the bite is so bad, he actually has to, like, they're medical students, so it comes into play. He's able to suture up it, and then he just takes the duct tape and then, like, duct tapes his neck.
Yes.
They did make a reference because the girl like falls in the avalanche in the drive up to the place. They do make a mention that what happens when you're in an avalanche, you have to spit because the direction of your spit will indicate whether you need to crawl up or crawl down. Because so many people when they're in an avalanche crawl the wrong way.
Correct, because you get disoriented. You know which way's up, which way's down. So she does the spit method, and she knows which way she has to go now.
She's able to do it actually by the snot of her nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's able to tell, and she's able to crawl down and get out.
So she escapes, and we'll cut back to her later because Martine and the other guy now, they're going 2v10 against these zombies.
Is this with the this is with the chainsaw?
Yeah.
This is pretty epic.
This is an epic showdown. Sledgehammer, chainsaw, they're going to take on these storming zombies.
It's a lot of zombies. And again, a chainsaw may not be the best tool here because it could get, clogged up. But I tell you what, the way he approaches it, he does some quick sling with this thing.
Yeah.
So they're charging him. He's quickly going to mash him up with the chainsaw. The other guy's going to bash him in with the mallet. It's a really cool scene because they're running towards each other.
It is exceptionally bloody, and I think that's why these kind of things work in snow, because the contrast between the snow and the blood.
Yeah.
And they're starting to get overrun, and that's when the other guy shows up on the snowmobile chains with the turret, and he just starts mowing them down with the machine gun.
I think that's a really cool kill too when he
launches,
does a wheelie launch on the snowmobile, and he basically takes out one guy, and then he actually propels one guy. He puts one guy's face in on the back part of the motor and just
revs it up and grinds him. Very reminiscent. This is so. we never covered this movie, but Wrong Turn 4 does a version of that with the kill of the snowmobile. It's done much better in this movie.
Yeah.
But this guy comes in, you think he's the savior. I kind of like where they all show up behind him and each stab him with a knife in a pose.
Yeah, he finally meets the group after like going on his own journey and after going through hell. This guy's been through it all, and he's going to get one of the worst deaths of all time.
Yes.
Where they all stab him in various areas, and the zombies pull his body, like they stretch him out and pull off his limbs.
Yes. Arms off, legs off, head off, and he is murdered. And now Martin and the other guy have to fight these guys, and now they just got like small pickaxes and hammers, and they're just decapitating people, playing soccer,
little football.
A little footy.
This is literally nuts. Like the brutality and the hack and slash nature of this movie is wild. Blood all over their faces, blood on the camera screen. And like the one guy, Martin, is going nuts. So much so that his bloodlust cannot be contained. When his girlfriend taps him on the shoulder, he actually turns and I think hatchets her in the side of the neck.
Yes. So he's just in shock because he has realized now he has definitely killed Hannah because she is just buckets of blood are pouring out of her neck.
Oh, yeah. God, and that's the thing that gets to me. Like, these guys have survived so much. She survived falling off a cliff into an avalanche.
Yes.
The other guy had to climb up zombie intestines to get to safety. Like, and he had to sew himself. Also, they would die in brutal ways.
I know. And I kind of like that about this movie. It builds these people up where you're like, oh my God, they're going to survive. They're actually going to get out of this. So they've done so much. Just the most abrupt death scenes in the movie.
Know.
So then Martin gets attacked and Martin gets bit. And they're like, you're bit. And that's when they do the thing you were referencing to where he cuts his arm off.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the funny part. So he gets bit and he's like, wait, no, I heard that because they mentioned it earlier in this movie, if a zombie bites you from all the movies that they watch, the infection spreads. So and the other guy's just like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And he goes, nope, I got to cut off my arm. So he actually grabs the chainsaw and immediately cuts off his arm.
Yes. And then as soon as he gets up, he's laughing. He's like, I did it. He gets bit in his inner thigh by a zombie.
Yeah. I think they make the joke of like, now he's thinking of like, potentially, does he have to cut off his dick?
Yeah. Right, because does it bite his dick or his inner thigh? I guess it probably did bite his dick.
I thought
dick.
That
would make sense.
Him in the groin or like ball areas, and now he's like thinking about like, now I got to cut off my dick. And
but
like, do I want to do that?
They decide against it, and they just start running because they get attacked by the general now.
Immediately, the general like unveils himself to him, and the general has this cool tactic where he just yells "Arise!" and all of them in the valley come back to chase them.
So now it's just they're outnumbered. So they start running. The one guy that isn't Martin, though, is going to bump into a tree so hard.
Dude, he actually gets, like, clipped on the side of his head by a I think it's a mallet.
You're right.
It's a mallet shot to the head, and then he nails the tree.
And then he starts moving away from the tree, but you realize his intestines were caught in the tree. So there's a lot of rope intestines in this movie.
A lot of intestines. It's a German thing.
They love poop and intestines.
Yeah.
I've said it for years. How does he get finished off here, though? Or does he just collapse and die?
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, I don't even think you see... He falls to the ground, and then you just see two zombies walk over him.
Over him, right. Okay, that's
you actually never see him die. It's just assumed he's dead.
Yeah, so then Martin, he's got to make it... Doesn't he give them the gold or something like that to, like...
Yeah, so... they chase Martin all the way back to the house, and Martin sees the gold. Well, he sees them pull out a
piece of it.
It's like a gun from like someone's body, and he looks like really satisfied with the gun.
Yeah.
Like, and so he puts the pieces together in his mind. It's just like, oh, they're here for the gold. They're here for the valuables.
Yeah.
So that's why he goes and gives them the box to the general, and they look super satisfied that because they stopped in their tracks when they saw the box.
Yes, they let Martin leave. The issue is once Martin gets back to his car and he's laughing and he's happy, he realizes he had a gold doubloon on him.
The whole time because it drops off when he has the keys.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, fuck. And like literally you just see the generals
smash through the window.
Smashes through the driver's side window, and that's dead snow. Yeah.
So this movie is like, it's such a new and unique. It's not new anymore. The movie came out, like 09? But like at the time, man, it was such a cool take on zombies where it's like they have a purpose. They're smart. They don't just like bite. They use weapons. Like they are plotting and have a plan, and it's like it's so fresh and fun and foreign and just like different and awesome. Like I can't talk good enough about this movie. I watched this movie back when it came out in 2009 with you, and I watched it again now to review it with you, and I gotta say, like, it holds up in every aspect.
Yeah.
The kills, the characters, the story of it, like the Harbinger actually being the one that just shows up to Harbinger. They don't run into him. I really like all of it. I actually am going to give this movie a very, very strong 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair. I struggle with the rating of this movie because I want to give it an 8. I have it like a high 7.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I mean, there's so many cool pieces to it. The blood is awesome. Like, the kills are awesome. The story is engaging. It doesn't get you like right into it like right away. There is like a little build up at the cabin, but it makes sense. Like, nothing I feel like is not used. Like, everything that's kind of built up in the beginning is kind of comes back in and is incorporated. It's a super clever movie. There's some things I'm thinking about, like, are there some plot holes potentially, because like if they're looking for the gold, like, did the girl in the beginning have the gold? Did the guy that's in the tent have the gold?
That's what I was questioning as well.
There's like some pieces that like I don't know that are thoroughly cohesive and make sense, but generally the fact that they have unearthed this gold, or that there may be gold in it. Oh, I think I know that makes sense, because I think that guy had a Luger gun that was probably from them, because that was probably the gun he discovered.
You're
so
right.
that does make sense.
Okay.
But I don't know why they killed the girl in the opening. That'd be the one I'd question.
Yeah, unless she had something, but I don't think she did.
Yeah.
But that makes sense for the guy now.
Yeah, because I think that's the gun that they found, because he did say that he was armed when he was getting hunted outside the cabin. But like, why is he there if he knows there's an evil?
Right.
You know
I agree.
mean? Like,
I agree.
There's small like little things, but overall, like, I can't nitpick. It's a super fun movie, and I know that the second one is almost just as good, and I can't wait to review that one as well, because Dead Snow, both movies are great series. Like,
Agreed.
Really fun.
It's only
set
2
of
movies, and I really enjoyed both as well. So now when we talk Necronomicon, I'm not good with who was who in this movie other than Martine and Hannah, but the guy who gets ripped apart.
Yeah, it's Vigard.
Vigard, I think that would be my mention for Necronomicon.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. Like, his death is so brutal. Like, for me, it was between him or
the guy in the cabin who gets his head ripped off.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Erland, who gets his face ripped off. But I think it's Vigard, only because he literally went through the gauntlet of trying to stay alive in the most crazy circumstances.
Yes.
And literally dies in the worst way.
That's why I like him too. Like, the guy who dies in the cabin with the head rip off is a sick death, but really all we knew him for was Blumpkins.
Yeah, and him and the other girl were just fodder.
They're father characters.
Yeah.
I thought Vigard, like, him actually discovering the machine gun, mowing things down, surviving, climbing the intestines rope.
He comes all the way back. You think he's like their hero that's going to save them and get them out.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a very
that crazy side journey.
It's a feast moment if I've ever seen one.
It's a feast for sure.
So yeah, Vigard, you were the I can't say hero because you didn't survive. Doesn't the hero almost have to survive?
No, I mean, like, it could be like a martyr situation.
Right. You know what? You were the hero / martyr of this movie. You discovered the cave. You discovered the Nazi origin. You did it all. You crafted a machine gun. You stitched your own neck. You climbed the intestines wall. We were rooting for you. And that's what you want from a character. Someone to root for. You don't want to be the characters in Texas Chainsaw Massacre Netflix.
No.
You want to be Vigard.
Yeah.
And that's why we need a Vigard in the Necronomicon. We need a leader.
Yeah. We also need someone named Vigard.
I actually agree.
Like, these, like, European names are so strong.
Right?
Erland.
Like I feel like he's a Viking.
Yeah, Vigard.
That's a lost art. Names like that.
We should do that. Like, that should be more of a thing.
Yeah, that's got to be your first child's name.
Skull.
I'll talk to Caitlin about it.
Yep.
All right. Well, I actually hate to say this. We only got 1 week left of Cabin Month.
4 weeks of Cabin Month is not enough.
It's not, which is why we did another theme in July that almost ties in with this.
Yeah, it's pretty great too. Can't wait for July. We got one more though.
We do. And it is obviously, how can you have a Cabin Month without doing Cabin Fever?
Yeah, an obvious one.
Yeah.
It's cool to get Eli Roth back on this.
It is. And like, obviously there's other Cabin movies, but we've done them already. Like Cabin in the Woods, we did. Like Sick, we did. We did Friday the 13th, so we've done plenty already.
Evil Dead's for sure.
Yes, the Evil Dead. So we're doing Cabin Fever as the main event of Cabin Month.
Yeah. There's a lot, but like you can't have a Cabin Month without Cabin Fever.
You really can't.
It's just a stone cold lock. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, it's no doubt entertaining, and it's a fucking lock.
It is. Is this our first Eli Roth since The Green Inferno?
It is. We've only done those two movies.
That's crazy. So because The Green Inferno, for those of you who haven't listened forever, was our second ever movie we've reviewed.
Yeah.
And now it has taken roughly 212 episodes to get back to Eli.
Especially because he's done like some films like fucking Hostel, which we haven't gotten to yet. Like, and it's kind of nuts how we haven't gotten to that or Cabin Fever.
Or a movie, it's not a good movie by him, but we've referenced it, how we have never done Knock Knock.
Yeah.
Like, we're in touch a little bit more Eli Roth. I feel it. I feel it. So with that said, we're the Final Podcast signing off, and we will see you next week where we catch the fever, the Cabin Fever. Oh.
That's hot.
It is.
That's hot.
I'm just so hot.
You know where to find us. www.thefinalpodcast.com for new episodes every single Monday. You can also find us and listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, literally wherever. Please give us that 5-star. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. You know where to find us. We'll be here next week. We'll see you then for some Eli Roth Cabin Fever.
Later.